Hello guys. Okay, wait. Let me turn down the music.
Ikaw nang mag-FB lang. Nakakaubos ng battery yung nakakonect sa ano. Kaya tinagal ko ng battery mo dahil connect sa ba? Baka naman hindi rin kayo
Pleasant afternoon, everyone. I'm sure this is a good mix of first-time attendees. Some have attended our previous workshop before, and you might notice that this is quite different from what we're used to do. But as I mentioned earlier, we wanted to be a little more chill, a little more relaxed, and I would like to tell you that we all appreciate that you've come to our workshop despite the very unpredictable weather. So, pleasant afternoon. We're starting September right, and with another exciting and insightful PayPal workshop. My name is Brian. I'm your host for the day. By the way, please help yourselves with coffee and water, and then a little later on we'll have snacks for everyone. And then, before I begin, I would just like to ask how many of you here are actual freelancers? Can you see a show of hands? Alright, so there's quite a lot. So I'm sure there's a lot of things that we're gonna learn from both Liz and Manuel. Of course, Liz started out her freelancing journey online writing blogs, and now she has her own brand. And then Manuel will tell us all about leveraging on the personal branding to start their freelancing business. Okay, so I'm sure everyone here has shared the same common ground. It was challenging at first, but look where you're all at right now. Out and about in the industry and are doing great. Can I hear a round of applause first so that just to get started? Sorry. Some of you came here super early, like an hour early. Really appreciate that. Thank you for making the effort. Sino yung pinakamalayo yung pinanggalingan? I heard someone came from Bicol. Meron Bicol? Tama? Bicol? Oh, QC yung pinakamalayo. QC is far from everything. Anyway, I warmly welcome you to PayPal's Night Workshop. Explore possibilities, discover your calling as a freelancer. It's going to be a learning-packed day of freelancing know-hows and what-ifs, so brace yourselves and get ready. Okay, but a few reminders before we formally begin. Okay, so if you want to get connected, we have Wi-Fi, so Scrum Spaces and the Wi-Fi password is Scrum Co-working. Also, we encourage everyone to share the experience online, like our Facebook page, post your photos with the hashtag PayPal Freelancers, and please tag PayPal Philippines. Okay, so you can like our page PayPal Philippines, and then also join our PayPal Freelancer community group on Facebook. Okay. And for those who haven't, for our attendees who haven't signed up for PayPal yet, you can freely approach Joanna in our PayPal sign-up booth, and then she will happily assist you. And if you have other concerns with your PayPal sign-up, you can approach Joanna later on. Alright. Later on, for our Q&A, we're doing it online, so visit mentee.com and then use the code 356751. So you can just type in your questions there, and later on, after the formal program, we'll answer some of your questions. For questions for Liz, you can type L and then your question, and then for Manuel, you can type M and then your question, and if you want to ask them both, you can just type B and then your question. Alright, you can do that at any point of the program. Alright, so let's get things started. Our first mentor is the founder of Project Vanity, the Philippines' top resource for all things beauty, and the founder of In Her Element, a Filipino-made skincare brand. Let's all warmly welcome Miss Liz Lanuzo. Hi Liz, good afternoon.
Hey guys, can I? So, have I got my doc on the... Hey guys, kamusta naman? Okay, just push that. Alright. Right, so, how's everyone doing today? Okay, chill and sitting on the floor. I was told that people don't want to sit on the floor, but I think it's more fun this way, so you can get to know people and hang out. Usually when it comes to events like this, people start very like, yeah, not so sure. But I think this is a really great opportunity to not just only, hear from PayPal mentors, but also to meet your fellow freelancers. So do take that opportunity. So anyways, a little bit about me. My name is Liz Lanuzo. I am on Instagram, Liz Lanuzo. I'm also on Project Vanity.com, and of course in her _element. So today what I'll be talking about is how to find basically your element as a freelancer. How do you become from just a freelancer starting out to a more successful, more stable freelancer? Because isn't that all what we all want, right? We want to be able to freelance, and we want that regular paycheck, or at least a regular source of income. So actually my talk for today, this is I think my third or fourth PayPal talk. And I've talked about a variety of topics, but what I want to focus on today is how to improve your cash flow by exploring other income streams. So when it comes to freelancers, sometimes we just work alone, so we have this tendency to have like a very narrow view of how we want to do our work. But hopefully with this workshop, we are able to explore more possibilities as freelancers. So let's begin. Where do I point this? Okay. Right, so just a quick about me. I am the founder of ProjectVanity.com. It's the top beauty resource in the Philippines. So we have a staff of 14 freelance writers, and I have 5 full-time members in my team. So what we do basically is write these amazing articles about skincare, makeup, and beauty services, pretty much. So you do come visit that. We receive about 500,000 views every month. Our social media pages have a combined 2 million reach in a month. So it's a pretty good website and community if you're really interested in beauty. So our mission is simple. We want to inform, inspire, and empower women to be their best selves. And not just to be beautiful, but just really find a way to accept who they are and be confident while doing so. So we also do a lot of community events. We partner with brands like L'Oreal, Revlon, Watsons, Shiseido, Estee Lauder. So we always have these little workshops. Normally, I like the PayPal people, I would much rather give you guys a makeup workshop. So if you're up for that, maybe 10 minutes down the line, you can talk about skincare. No, I'm just kidding. But it's really all about beauty for Project Vanity. So, right. So we also have PR services. So this is actually part of my freelance services, which moved on to being part of my agency services in my company. And we handle mostly beauty brands for their PR launches, influencer marketing, social media marketing. And then of course we have In Her Element, my baby. This is a proudly Filipino-made skincare brand, and we really focus. Our promise is to give you guys maximum growth for minimum effort. Meaning it's highly concentrated skincare that does what it's supposed to do. And right now we are available in retail, inside beauty bars, so about 8 malls, and we're also in beautyml.com and our website, inherelement.ph. So, ayan. So basically that's what I'm doing right now, right? But how did I get here from being a freelancer to having my own company at 30? I started up at 28, so about 2 years na yung my company. And so how did that happen? I think that's the most common question people ask me. How did I start from being just writing random web articles to being basically an entrepreneur with my own team and a multi-million business? Okay, so it all started in 2005. I started blogging in 2005. And that was before I even started talking about makeup and skincare and all of that stuff. I just really started blogging, and this was before Facebook. Alala niyo ba yung Friendster? Taas na kami nakal ng Friendster. Ayan, yung mga hindi alam, you're too young. You have so much to learn in the world. No, but Friendster pa noon, wala pang Twitter actually. Walang Facebook, walang Instagram. So it's really blogs where you could find information about what you ate for lunch, or who you hung out with, or what were you thinking about. So that was that time when I started blogging. I was really lucky that I started out really early. And then 2008, 10 years ago, was when we started Project Vanity. So I've been actually freelancing since around 2008. I've been working since college. And I started as a freelance copywriter. So yung mga 10 articles on hair loss, yung mga 20 articles about Christmas, may mga Google SEO keywords, nang uso pa yan, nang uso pa yung ganun. And then after that, I only ever had one full-time job, one full-time desk job, which I stayed on for 8 months. And then I quit that to freelance full-time. So, of course, that was really the most scary part, one of the most scary decisions I've ever made in my life because, I was like 21, I don't know anything, don't have any contacts, not that much anyway. And, I don't know anything pretty much. I was too young. But, I feel like in my journey as a freelancer in the last 10 years, I've learned so many things that I think a lot of people will find useful, which is why we are here today. So, first things first, you have to find your element as a freelancer. What does this mean? No freelance journey is the same. No freelancer exactly does the same thing. It's very different for each of us. And so there's no one flow chart about you do this, you do that, you make this much money. It doesn't work like that. It really all depends on what you're really looking to do. So I really have just 3 questions that you guys should ask yourself. And 3 questions that I also constantly ask myself. The first is, what are your top 3 skills to offer as a freelancer? You really have to go sit down because sometimes the most obvious skills are not necessarily your strengths, right? You may be good at something else. Maybe you are a writer, but you really have a passion for graphic design, for example, but you haven't really broken into that particular freelance segment. So maybe you want to write that down and you want to focus that. These will be your core skills. Right? So you make sure to write down, make sure to describe it. But other than that, you also have to think about the top 3 weaker skills that you have that you can still work on developing. Why is this important? Because as a freelancer, you have to be able to do as many things as possible because with that, you can build so many things. Like, for example, I can do everything all my staff does in my company. I don't do that because I don't have the time. But if I wanted to, I can set up a whole e-commerce website tomorrow. This will have product photos, which I will shoot myself in post-process. This will have copy, which I will write myself. And this will also have social media pages, which I can manage myself if I wanted to. I know I'm bragging here, but it's true. It's very important as freelancers to be able to build something from scratch. And this you can do with all the skills and all the resources that you have at hand, which is why it's so important. When I started out, I was just really a freelance copywriter. That's really all I did. And sometimes I would blog on the side for other blogs, I'd get paid for that. But over time, I've learned how to do photography, I've learned how to do graphic design, I've learned social media management, and these other skills really packaged together make me more marketable as a freelancer, and that's how I was really able to get all the clients that I've worked with in the past. So that's why you have to think about that. And the third question is, what is your end goal as a freelancer, right? Why does this matter? Because all different freelancers have different ideas of how they are, of what they're looking to do in this particular career path, right? Some people are just in transition, meaning maybe they're stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home dads and are just looking to make extra money to supplement their household income. Some people are also just in between jobs or in between industries. Maybe you're switching to another industry. So, in the meantime, you can just take a lot of quick, easy jobs, with your current skill set and then keep on looking for the next thing that you want to do. But for others, like me, I wanted to build something for myself. I wanted to have my own thing wherein I have a lot more control over my work. So you have to think about that because the answer to that will dictate how you are going to tackle your freelance career, right? Is it like just a side thing, or is it going to be your main thing in the future? So those are the things you have to think about and have to answer for yourself before you're really able to build a stable platform from which you can market yourself as a freelancer. Okay, so I want to talk about this because a lot of people talk about passion. This current zeitgeist in the world right now is, pursue your passion and you'll be happy and you'll never have to work a day in your life. And I was taken in by this when I was very young. And over time, I realized this is not quite true, right? Passion is useful because it makes your work enjoyable, makes you excited to go to work every day or to go to your desk and do your whatever it is, whatever work it is that you do. But passion will change, it will disappear, and you will burn out. That's a fact. It's not. It's something that everyone goes through, and your passion will change over time because you will change over time. Those goals that I discussed earlier, your skills, your interests, where you are in your life, that will change, right? That will change. You have to accept that. And so, in the same vein, what you're passionate about will change at the same time. Like for me, when I was starting out, I was really super into writing, right? Writing was my life. I love blogging. I love writing copy for agencies, overseas companies as well. But over time, like now where I am in my life, I have a passion for product development. I am super into making skincare and beauty products and researching that. So for me, that's where I am and that's where my life is headed. But for you guys, passion is fleeting. It's just temporary and it'll change. So what will take you through when that passion runs out and you're burnt out is just really, your expertise, what you're really, really good at, and your hard work, your habit for hard work rather. Hard work is, you can always work hard and put in an all-nighter to do something, but a habit for doing it, that will be the thing that will differentiate you as a freelancer, I think. Having that habit for hard work and just really like keeping steady even when you don't feel like doing your work for the day. So over time, I developed this rule for myself. It's a 30-40-30 rule. And this has guided me in being a very successful freelancer before I started my business. So you have to remember that your time is literally money. Every single time you spend on anything every single time you spend on your client or looking for clients, literally money that you're not making or money that you're making. So time is money. And so you have to be really, really careful about how you spend it. You have to project manage yourself, if you can imagine that. So I believe that in the 30-40-30 rule, you have to spend 30% of your time working on short-term, fast-paying jobs. So ito yung mga work on Odesk, who's on Odesk or Upwork here. Ayan, so I see some people raising hands. Right, that's a really good way to earn like fast money. The turnover is fast, you get paid in a month or a few weeks or even less. And you want to focus on that, these quick little jobs that you can do with the least amount of time, the least amount of brain power, so that you can sustain at least your pocket money or day-to-day expenses. But then, of course, 40% of your time, you really have to focus it on working with your long-term clients, because your long-term clients are obviously going to be your bread and butter. These are the people who's going to pay for your mortgage or something. And you want to be constantly able to build your relationships with them, right? So that's 40% of your time. And it's very important for you to think about like, how else can you make yourself valuable in the organization that you're freelancing for, right? How deep can you go and how far can you develop this relationship? Because in my experience, it's really, client acquisition is super expensive. It's super expensive in terms of your time. Because if your client turnover is super fast, you're constantly going to be searching for new people to work with, right? New projects to accomplish, and that takes a lot of your time and energy and brain power as a freelancer. So you want to retain as many clients as possible, and this means making your clients as happy as possible and having, a really good relationship with them, right? As employers and as suppliers. So have to think about that. The acquisition cost of working with, the acquisition cost basically getting all these clients to stay with you. Last, and actually this is something that going to be the focus of the rest of my talk. 30%. You have to spend the rest of that time constantly looking for new income streams and new people and contacts to network with. Okay, this is actually something that I find a lot of freelancers fail horribly at. They are not good at doing this part. And why is that? I think that also as Filipinos, we have this tendency to be really mahiyain about approaching people, or like, we're kind of not so confident about looking for other ways to, branch out, I guess is the best term. So, pag ganon, how else are you going to grow as a freelancer? Of course, you have these quick jobs. But then again, your time is your money. That's going to it's not going to scale, right? Meaning you can't do more of it for less the cost of your time. When working with long-term clients, it's good. Again, bread and butter. It's good. You can pay your rent. But at the end of it, again, you can't scale. It's going to reach a certain point and it's going to stay there. But with networking and exploring new income streams, it's scalable. Meaning it can only go up. But of course, this requires a lot of work and a lot of maintenance as well. You have to whenever I sit down with like freelancers, I have this friend, right? And she used to work for really big multinationals, right? Like Toro, something like that. And I love her. She's really, really great. So when she started to work as a freelancer, I think she wasn't able to maybe network as much, but she was able to start something else, which I'm super proud of. So I think it's very important to be able to network and to be able to explore other ways to make money other than your existing client work. So how do we do that? Freelancing is mostly known as such an unstable thing, right? Because as a freelancer, you can't expect to be paid a monthly salary. Although there are some setups like that. Siyempre, per project lang yun, and so the project's limited. So you sometimes wouldn't know when your next paycheck is gonna come. And that's super stressful, right? Super stressful. Parang it drives you crazy sometimes. But stability is definitely not impossible as a freelancer. It's hard, but it's not impossible. And you can do that by diversifying your income streams. So what does this mean? Basically means that you are going to going to explore other avenues by which you can make money, pretty much. So how do you do that? Okay. Number one is to package your knowledge. So you're a freelancer and you have an existing skill set, right? An existing skill set that you already make money from. But how do you scale up that existing skill set? Again, you can't work with 50 clients at the same time. Even if 50 clients wanted you because you're so good, you can't serve all of them because you're still only one person. So to be able to at least able to make money from something that you just spent one time making, you want to package whatever it is you learn into different formats. So for example, if you're a designer, you can customize you can customize templates, you can customize vectors, fonts, things like that. You can create that and sell that. There are so many marketplaces for that online where you can make money just selling your designs. Or you can also sell it in your own website. If you're a writer, you can write ebooks about whatever it is you're an expert at or whatever topics it is that you feel it's going to be sellable. So maybe you can write an ebook about, I don't know, being a freelance writer, if you're really good at that, or an ebook for other people about how to manage social media, for example. Same if you're a social media manager, actually. You can create guides, you can create infographics, or things like that to be able to basically educate other people how to do your job. But of course, they can't do it as well as you. That's the upsell is you. When the upsell is you, like when they want to know more, they can get in touch with you, which we'll discuss in another time. So basically, whatever it is that you're freelancing at, you want to be able to package the knowledge and be able to sell that in different marketplaces or in your own websites. Okay. So another thing that you can do is to sell your strategies. So a lot of people sometimes have this very specific way of how they want to do their work. Is that, okay, I want to work for a client, I want to get that project, but sometimes the client's not able to pay for your full rate, right? Because syempre, for whatever reason, they can't do it and they can't pay it. So how can you at least keep that connection with that potential client? One is that you can sell them your strategies instead. Like for example, if you're a web designer, you can sell wireframes, or you can sell basically advise them how they could create basically the UI of the website, for example. If you're a social media manager, for example, you can create the strategy for their social media rather than actually managing the social media. So in this way, you can train. You can help them, reach their business goal, make money, but still keep that connection. You can also be an advisory role for your client's staff, so you can just really manage them. And then you can also coach newbie freelancers in how they can, basically help do their jobs. So ang dami ko nakikita ng mga blogging coach, for example, or social media coaches and things like that. So I think it's a pretty good business, and you can make a fairly good amount if you market it very well. This is actually one of my favorites. You want to apply your skills to e-commerce. For me, what I found I love Project Vanity and I love the PR work that we do. It makes okay. But in terms of scalability, product is really the best way to go about it. Like, if you sell product, it's much less work, much less concentration. There's much less concentration required of me as a business owner, and the product will sell by itself, even with like the minimum of effort from my team. So that's why I love the In Her Element business, because I can always scale. Like, the more products I sell, the more I can make, and it's always going to go up, of course. So, what can you sell? I think that's a question that I get a lot. How do I know what to sell in my online store? Well, you have to ask yourself, what it is that you love to buy? Something you're really passionate about, but is super hard to get a hold of, right? So for me, it was really good skincare that's made in the Philippines. So I was like, okay, I'll make it in Her Element. And I want them, and I love La Mer, I love Estee Lauder, Shiseido, but sometimes I don't want to spend 5,000 bucks on a face cream. So I was thinking, maybe I can make something at a fraction of the cost. And that's how In Her Element was born. That's why I decided on skincare, because it's something that I always use, dali ko maubusan. So that's how I decided on it. So for some people, it can be toys, certain merchandise, wag lang drugs. And you can sell that online, right? So, and the best thing about having an online store, it'll supplement your income kasi. But the best thing about having the online store, aside from helping with that, with making money, is that it's actually the best resume or portfolio you can give to a prospective client. Why? Like sometimes, like for example, right now we're working with a skincare brand from abroad. So we're doing their PR here because they're now available in Watson's. And they're asking me, so do you have any social media work that you've done in the past? Because we're pitching for your social media management. And I said, yeah, well, I've handled this is what we've done for them. But right now, I have my own brand. And this is what we're doing right now. This is how many followers we have. This is the kind of sales that we get. And it's actually more impressive, right, for clients to be able to see exactly your skills, because syempre, you have skin in the game. And so you deliver your best work, and it's something that you can showcase to your clients easily. So that's why I really recommend setting up e-commerce. It's pretty easy, even if you don't know how to code. There's Squarespace, there's Shopify, there's Shopee, although there's such a limited way to go about it. But syempre, an online store is not just about platforms, not just about the product, but also how you market it. So it's also a great way to showcase your expert social media marketing skills, or just even if you're starting out, right? The best way to learn something is to get in there, do it, have skin in the game, and deliver your best work.